So now we continue with Leviticus chapter 1. And in this chapter 1, the heading says regulations about burnt offerings. So the Lord called Moses and spoke to him. Tell all your people. He spoke to him from the meeting place of their tents. Tell your people, the Israelites, to come together. When any of you bring an offering to the Lord, bring as your offering an animal from either the herd of the flock. If the offering is a burnt offering from the herd, he is to offer a male without defect. So you see, God was talking to Moses to tell the people that they should bring an offering before the Lord, and that is a burnt offering. Remember, we spoke about 5 offerings they were making to God. So this is the very first one, the chapter 1 is talking about burnt offering. And the type of animal they should bring should be a male animal from the flocks of their herd, what the animals they rear. So it should be a male animal without defects. It should be healthy, because you have to offer the best to God for your prayers to be answered. That was in the representation God was saying to Moses to tell them. In verse 4, he is to lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He is to slaughter the young bull before the Lord, and then Aaron's sons, the priests, shall bring the blood and sprinkle it against the altar on all sides at the entrance to the tent of meeting. So they are just explaining how this burnt offering should be prepared, and how you offering the animal for the burnt offering should go about it. You put your hand on the head of the animal, and then Aaron, who was the priest, Aaron's sons, the priests, shall bring the blood and sprinkle it against the altar on all sides of the altar. So before, all along this time, they offer sacrifices with animals, and they use the blood to sprinkle, to make atonement, to make a sort of purification. And then in verse 6, he is to skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. The sons of Aaron the priest are to put fire on the altar and arrange wood on the fire. Then Aaron's sons the priests shall arrange the pieces, including the head and the fat, on the burning wood, that is, on the altar. He is to wash the inner parts and the legs with water, and the priest is to burn all of it on the altar. So you see, the animal has to be killed, skinned, slaughtered. The intestines and all the organs in the belly of the animal with the feet, all should be placed on the altar to be burnt by the priest. And these priests were the sons of Aaron. It is a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, an aroma pleasing to God. So when they put fire on this animal and all its organs and everything, when it is burning, that aroma that comes out from it is what is pleasing to God. If the offering is a burnt offering from the flock, from either the sheep or the goats, he is to offer a male without defect. So they're just going about the same thing that has been said from the beginning. So just going on emphasizing how this animal should be as good and healthy as it is. In verse 12 now, he is to cut it into pieces, and the priest shall arrange them, including the head. Just the same thing in verse 14. If the offering to the Lord is a burnt offering of bird, he is to offer a dove or a young pigeon. So you see, if you don't have an animal but you have to offer a bird, it should be a pigeon or a dove. Nothing else but those two. to the Lord. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off the head, and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out on the side of the altar. So you see, if it is a bird as a pigeon or a dove, they don't cut their head with any knife. They just twist it, say you wring it. So when you cut it, the head off from the body, the blood should be sprinkled right around the altar and not on the altar. That's the simple explanation the Bible is giving here. He is to remove the crop. In verse 15, the priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off the head, and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out on the side of the altar. In verse 16, he is to remove the crop with its contents and throw it to the east side of the altar, where the ashes are. So you see, birds, they feed on little grains. So that's what they are referring to. So their intestines will be filled with those grains. So the priests have to remove all those things and throw it to the east side of the altar where there is fire, not on the main altar. That is what they are explaining here. So now in verse 17, he shall tear it open by the wings, not severing it completely. So he said you tear the whole bird from the wings like this, not cutting it. In verse 18, it is a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. And that is the end of chapter 1. So we have seen so far, if it's an animal, how they do it. They kill it, they spill the blood around the altar, and they will cut, skin the animal, take the skin of the animal off, cut its head, the intestines, the feet, all put them together on the altar and light the fire over it. So when it is burning, the aroma is pleasing to God. If it is a bird, they say you just twist its neck, and the blood, you spill it around the altar too. So the intestines you take out, through it to the east of the altar, and then you tear the bird from the wings open. That was how the direction was given from the Bible. So all these sacrifices are made on the altar by burning them. By burning them, and when it is burnt, the aroma that comes out from that is what is pleasing to God. That is the end of chapter 1. We'll continue chapter 2. We'll see you in the next video.